So welcome to everyone as you're joining the room. We will be starting off in just a couple of minutes. If you'd like to just introduce yourselves and let us know where in the world you're joining us from in the chat box at the bottom of your screen. Always good to know who is on the line and where you're coming from. Switzerland and Malawi. Good to see you, Mike. Wet in Belfast, Australia, Spain, UK. Very dull in the UK, so I hope, Ros, you're going to show us some African sunshine. Okay, so hello and welcome to the latest ATTA webinar. Today we're heading to Zambia and Malawi with green safaris. So before I introduce our presenter today, just our usual housekeeping. As I've mentioned, the chat function is open, so please do introduce yourself and let us know where in the world you're joining us from today. As always, the webinar is being recorded. And the recording will be shared shortly after the live webinar, so don't worry if you miss anything. You'll be able to catch up later. If you've got any questions, just pop these into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and we'll be addressing these at the end of the presentation. So now to introduce our presenter, Ros Hein, Business Development Manager at Green Safaris. With 34 years Southern African tourism experience under her belt, Ros's career includes hotel and lodge reservations, game lodge management, tour operator and ground handler management, and selling extensive itineraries across Southern Africa. So there are a few elements within the African tourism industry Ros has not been involved with. Ros has been passionately involved in Tongabezi since 2010, and this provided a natural migration to being involved with the rest of the Green Safaris properties. So Ros, it's great to have you with us today. And so over to you for the presentation.
Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone who joined. I did see a few familiar faces. Hi, Herbie. And yeah, and Mike as well, and I'm very excited to be here and present this fantastic portfolio of products to you, spanning across Zambia and Malawi. So awesome, thank you very, very much. But difficult to talk about green safaris in the time frame that we have, so I'm going to move very, really quickly, if that's okay. You're welcome to all contact me directly afterwards if you have some more information, you want some more sort of detailed feedback, we can certainly do that as well. So Green Safaris is the brainchild of Vincent. He lives in the Netherlands, and lost his heart to Zambia many years ago. The whole concept behind wanting to support a developing country and using tourism around that. And obviously looking at Southern Africa and having traveled to Zambia extensively, that is where he lost his heart and formed Green Safaris. So, sorry. There we go. Okay, so the concept behind Green Safaris is basically four pillars. Number one is outdoing your imagination, and that can be taken in many ways and forms. But mainly, you know, swimming on top of the Victoria Falls and the Devil's Pool, living in a tree house, living in a nest up in the Busanga Plains, having brilliant guides like Jacob Shawo, who's extremely experienced, fantastic food and chefs. And basically also the activities around our establishments, the service levels being one of them as well, outdoing your imagination in that regard. Empowering our people, and how does that look in various forms, whether it be through skill centers, whether it be through education, and also in training and getting the local population to be really involved in tourism. So a lot of training programs going in, employing in people that perhaps never have worked in this industry, and getting them, teaching them a skill, and they let them make tourism a career. Teaching them also how to grow their own food, all of that kind of empowering of people. And then the third pillar, conserving our environment, and how does that look? Well, it's basically our footprint, the carbon emissions we give off, the silent safaris, the silent boats, and also how we build our properties. Some of them we've inherited and we have to change a little bit to form into that pillar. But the ones that we've built with that our whole idea of conserving your environment in play. So solar power panels, non-reliance on destroying the vegetation around us, you're really conserving that. And then protecting your wildlife, very much around working with existing people that are there, African parks, Panthera projects, anti-poaching units, certainly educating communities around and the need to protect wildlife. So it's sort of Green Safaris is on steroids when it comes to the sustainability of the area and the countries that we're in and the people that we interact with. From a map perspective, just to give you an idea of where we're located, the first product that Vincent ever built was here in Kafue at Illa. Then Kayamawa came on board and open to the possibility of purchasing that, and Vincent did because it fitted a lot of the pillars that we've already spoken about. They have an incredible skills center on board and a community that we can work very closely with. Then Tongabizi, the original owner, Ben Parker, was already talking to Vincent and then unfortunately passed away, but he felt that Vincent was the right person to take on his product and continue the dreams that he had around it, because he was already filling a lot of those pillars. And so that also became a natural progression for us. And then in June of last year, we opened up Shawa, which is in South Ruangwa. And then in July, we opened up Chizabizanga. So this is how our sort of dream itinerary, as we call it, fits in. We're able to connect all of our camps through various forms and ways and means. A flight from Livingstone to Illa takes about an hour. And then the transfer in from Illa from the airstrip into Illa is about 20 minutes. From Lusaka in, you can either do a flight or you can do a road transfer. The road transfer takes about 3.5 hours. In season, we will have a plane based at Illa, so we're able to do the sort of 25-minute hop into Chizabizanga, which is up in that rich Bisanga plain area. You can do a road transfer, but it is quite long. So we try, and the cost factor isn't much different. So we do recommend that you do the hop up there, as well as from Lusaka in as well. It's got a great airstrip. Lusaka into Shawa, depending on the plane, hour to an hour and 10 minutes to get into Mafui. And again, you've got ProFlight, you've got Royal Air Charters, you've got SkyTrail that all do that route. And then from Shawa down to Lilongwe, we are involved with Yolanda Air, and also ProFlight does this route as well. And obviously our dream is to be able to connect straight up to Kayamawa as well. So for groups, we're actually bringing on a high-speed ferry that will connect the mainland with the Lakoma Island up in Malawi. And that opens up lots of possibilities, bringing in customs officials, bringing in the nurses to do COVID tests on, which is where we're sort of working towards, and also connecting the community again with the mainland. So we are working on the possibility of being able to go direct. At the moment, you do come via Lilongwe up to Kayamawa using Yolanda Air as well to do that sort of an hour flight as well. So very easy to get from Mafui and onto Kayamawa by lunchtime. It's seamless. Just in terms of COVID testing currently, in the current reality, we're hoping that, by next season, the reality of PCR tests will be gone. But for now, we do work also very closely with Latitude and Lusaka and Lilongwe, if the need be that we need to bring you in for a night to be able to do that COVID test out. But we do the COVID testing in all our other destinations in camp. Just to give you an idea of our rate structures at the moment, obviously based on RAC. So we do feel that we are very reasonable and been able to put together a whole circuit that is affordable. We do have current specials at the moment, which you can combine. So stay 4, pay 3 at any one of our properties, as well as the 3-night long stay rate. And you can combine both of those. So if you booked 4 nights across the board, you'd probably end up, with 3 or 4 free nights at the moment for 2022. We are looking at percentage incentives for 2023. going forward, so that, you know, the more nights you book, the deeper the discount gets. But we will keep you updated when that happens. Livingston, down at the falls, beautiful property, 25 minutes from the falls by road, probably about 20-25 minutes from the airport to the lodge. Beautifully located up from the falls, so you don't get the buzzing of the helicopters and microlights above you, but you also get that fantastic view of the river, which has the most incredible sunsets. The way it's built is that we don't have one main area. We have a whole lot of different areas, so very different dimensions to Tongabizi. This is called Lookout, this is called Hangout, and then we have another little area here with the Sunken Boma. So guests are forever discovering new little places within Tongabizi. It consists of 5 river cottages, which are all entry-level rooms that are based along the river, all have river frontage. We have an open front tree house. So again, that's part of our Doing Your Imagination. 3 enclosed houses, which are our premier houses, and all have their plunge pools. And then from a family perspective, we have Dog House, which has got 2 bedrooms interlinked with walkways. It has its own lounge dining area. And then as well as a 2-bedroomed garden house, which is set back from the river, has a wall that goes all the way around it. And the idea behind that is if you have smaller children, you feel a little bit more safer than having them directly on the river. We don't close this lodge at all. Obviously, we do have a green season and a high season based around the safari side of the industry. And yeah, so the wonderful thing about that is that you can combine that with all other itineraries throughout Southern Africa because it's open all year round. These are the river cottages. They are, some have double, some have twin beds, all have these beautiful decks that you can have private dining on. Not big enough to put a 3rd person in, so it's only really for couples. But we have been known to put smaller rollaway beds in there for smaller children, but we don't recommend it. We rather stick to having 2 adults in these rooms. This is a picture of the private dining from the deck of actually one of the garden cottages. And then you can see the expanse of that river that comes in to Tongabizi and the quietness. The island across you see here is called Squeaky Sand Island, and we use that to have our sandbars. We use that to have, you know, if you go off on your sunset cruises or you're fishing, you come back and it's this beautiful sandbar set up with beautiful snacks and plums and champagne. And it's just an idea because there's this lot of private dining around Tongabizi. So it's an idea of bringing people together to maybe meet each other there, or we can do private stuff, you know, proposals or weddings or anything on that island as well. Just a picture from the river cottage, from the bathroom, again, looking out over the deck on the river. This is an image of Honeymoon House. So as we said, we've got the 3 premier houses. You know, we've got these stackaway doors that can open up. We've got the plunge pools. You can have private dining in them. You'll see all these little projects here. We were talking about empowering people. These are sort of projects that comes off our skills center in Malawi, where we do these amazing embroidery on cushions and recycled glass chandeliers and etc. This is a picture of Nut House. This house is actually closing soon to have a full refurbishment done of it. Its bed is a concrete base, so we can't split it into twin beds. So if somebody does need to have a twin, we would have to bring an extra bed, rollaway bed in there. And then this is a picture of Bird House. It's actually a sort of a replica of a honeymoon house, just swung the other way around. So on this side of it, you'll have the big lounge area. Also, it's got its own plunge pool, etc. And this is Dog House. You can see in the distance here in this picture, there's the other room. This section here has got its pool with its own lounge dining area, which is what you see here. These coconut husk chandeliers also come from our skills center on Kayamawa. Comes with its own chef that you can serve your meals in here as well. This is Garden House. This is the stone wall I was talking about that wraps all the way around. It has this little door you come in. It's got its lounge dining area, and then it's got a separate bedroom across the way for the adults and its own bathroom. And then you've got the children's bedroom as well. There's actually an image where you look across into the lounge dining area from the children's room. So what's wonderful about this is it is big enough for us to put a 3rd bed if you have a family with 3 children and they're wanting to be close to the parents. This is a perfect house for that. All air conditioned as well in all of the rooms. You get allocated a valet that looks after you while you're there. You get a little two-way radio with them, and then you're able to talk to your valet for anything that you need while you're there. This is the tree house, my favorite house. I love it because it just enables you to really immerse yourself in Africa and hear the hippos, and it's just an incredible room. And again, I think totally doing fitting that image of outdoing your imagination. It's actually built into the tree and into the rocks of the riverbank. I think incredibly romantic as well. We then do have a house which we call Tangala House, which is our exclusive use house. It's got 4 bedrooms, 3 are en suite and 1 across the hallway. So we would never put more than 8 people in here. And probably more so in terms of families or generational travel, where you've got grandparents traveling with them. You don't have to have 8, you can take it if you only 5 of them, but we are moving into doing a exclusive use rate for this property as well. It obviously comes with its own chef and boat and guides, etc. as well. It has all these sort of indoor, outdoor areas, indoor dining, outdoor dining, indoor lounge area, outdoor lounge area. Again, that whole concept of dimensionals and finding different places as part of Tangala House. Then also down there, we have an island called Sindabisi Island. It's an island downstream from Tonga. We are about to introduce, and one of the things we've always wanted to do was have all of our vehicles and boats electric at Tonga, but when we bought it, it obviously didn't have that. And over COVID, we've had to put a little bit of a break on it, but we're about to launch our first electric dhow boat that takes you to Sindabisi. So that you can go directly to Sindabisi. It's made up of 5 chalets. One is the honeymoon chalet, so it's a slightly bigger chalet. It has its own little outdoor lounge area and beach that you can do private dining on. Because it's on an island and it's on its own, we don't really allow children older than 14 years on there. But if you're taking it exclusively and you've got children slightly younger, then we will look at it. We're very, very flexible with how we do business. All little, also again, sort of very little dimensions with little decks here and there that you can also, even though you maybe were on the island with other people, you can still enjoy the private dining side of it that you would experience at Tongabisi. And it comes with the same inclusions and exclusions that you would get at Tongabisi as well. It's just an image looking out from one of the rooms. 2 of the rooms have ball and claw bars, one being the honeymoon, and this actually is the other one. They all have indoor outdoor showers. It is run off solar. So we do, and we have these sort of drop downs. It is completely open, but we have these canvas drop downs that your valet will close or open for you depending on how you want to live on the island. And again, there's just some imagery of some of the stuff that comes out of our skills center. So we work very much towards sort of ethical decor, where we're supporting communities in using them to decorate a lot of our properties. This is Squeaky Sand Island that I was talking about in terms of picnics and sandbars and various things that you can do it. And we do it at a level which is, I think, a little bit above what everybody else does. It's very perky, it's interesting, it's and just as I said, the decor and the way we do it is beautiful. These are pictures of some of our dhow boats. We do these sampan dinners in low water. We moor this 100 meters offshore. You get taken to it on a boat, and you obviously order your food on land, and then you get there, and then your guide or your waiter canoes to you with your food, which is amazing. I've only managed to do this once in my life, but it was an incredible experience. And again, very romantic. So if you are booking Tongabisi and you want your client to experience this, do let us know, and we'll make sure that happens while they're there. As I said, the dhow boats that we use to chug down the river, having lunches on. Obviously, all the other activities that are included: sunset cruises, sunrise cruises, fishing, tour of the falls. It's a fully inclusive package. So all your local drinks are included, and the activities that are on the rate sheets you'll see are included in there. We also have we own the activity called Livingston Island, which is this island here on the lip of the falls. Certain times of the year, just for you that don't know, this is Zimbabwe here and this is Zambia here. So we have our own launch point. We used to launch out of the Royal Livingston, but we now have our own launch point, and where you check in for the activity, and then we take you by boat across to the island. You get met by the most incredible guides, and they do the tour of the falls. And then those who are brave enough end up swimming in the Devil's Pool. So that's just giving you an idea of where Devil's Pool is. It's only accessible during low water. I mean, we try to keep it open the year round, but the guides do tell us when to close it and when to open it. So generally, I mean, this year we've had to close the Devil's Pool a little bit earlier because the volume of water was so high. In other years, it only closes in February. And then we have another pool called Angel's Pool that we use. And then you do the tour of the islands, is where Dr. Livingston first saw the falls. And you have the most incredible, I mean, recently I was there in November, I had the most incredible breakfast on board. The chef on there is incredible and really amazing. And the guides are so experienced and making you feel comfortable that you can go and swim in Devil's Pool. So you're actually looking across at Zimbabwe there, just to give you an idea. Illa, as I said, this was the initial property or flagship of that Vincent built. This is actually a view from sort of Kafui looking at Illa. We are situated in a game capture area just on the other side of the banks of Kafui, and we do get, we take boats across here into Kafui, but we are just about to launch our own pontoon, so we're able to cross directly into Kafui. This is the main area that you're looking at, the sort of the dining area, beautiful rim flow pool that gives you the most incredible views. You see elephants coming down to drink. And this is another sort of meeting point and lounge area, if you will. And then the reception area that you come through the door there. I'm made with 10 tents. 2 of them have the outdoor tubs on the decks. And then we also have 2 family tents. So the Green Safaris portfolio is really beautiful for being able to do, you know, obviously FRTs, honeymooners, so we have a whole romantic side of it. We do families on all of our properties, except for Chisa, where we only have 4 nests, and we'll talk about that now. But we also have that sole use as well on all of our properties. So we're able to cater for all markets across the board. This is actually a very nice property for groups as well, because of the fact that it has the 10 tents. It is closed from the 31st of January to the 3rd of March, and we do have a green season, obviously where the rates are slightly lower, but our high season is from the 1st of July through to the 31st of October. I traveled up there in November and it was very hot, but I did find at night it was cool because of the way that they've built the nests, the tents. You have these open areas that fold up, and so the ventilation too is incredible, and that goes to that whole ethos about environment and how you build, so that you're non-reliant on having air conditioner all the way through there. And at night time, yeah, I had to get up and actually close some of them because there was just this incredible ventilation that comes through. That's a picture of the tub on the deck. So if you want your clients to get that room, just request it, and it comes as a first come, first serve basis. Dining on the decks, looking out over this incredible river. There's only 2 rivers you can traverse in Zambia, one being the Zambezi River and the other one is the Kafui River. So we do have these electric boats. Sorry, I'm just moving on. We have electric boats and electric vehicles. So electric boats, we do go out on these sunset cruises. The staff do set up on the banks this incredible sundowner, as well as another dimension to not just doing game viewing safaris. One of the claim to fame that we have at our 3 properties is these silent vehicles that you go out, and if I had to describe it, it's almost like if you put your car in neutral and you know, freewheeling down a road. That's the feeling you get when you're in a silent vehicle, which enables you to hear the birds and the bird life and the noises, like warning calls and stuff like that, that you probably wouldn't always hear if you had a diesel engine going or electric petrol engine going. So and the game gets you know, isn't just scared, kind of coming close to, not that they're scared in Kafui, but it's just another dimension to doing safaris, and again stamps that footprint in terms of our environment. An incredible solar farm that charges up all of these things for us. That's just another image of the boat. We've seen, you know, you can do a private lunch as a romantic element, coming back to that whole sort of honeymoon way of doing things. That's another image of the electric boats. And obviously we can do walking safaris as well. There's Vincent standing here, but that's, sorry, another image of what we can do in terms of private dining out in the bush as well. So we try to do various elements, not just focus on just the game drive side of it. Chisabizanga, recently, Vincent went and camped here under a tree and came up with this concept of, well, why don't we live up in the trees in a bird's nest? And, he brought this reality to fruition, and he's got these 4 nests that he's built in this incredible game-rich area. As I said, it's four nests open from the 1st of June to the 15th of November, but our high season is from the 1st of July to the 31st of October. There's another image of them, and I love this image because it actually shows the area quite nicely. This area is mainly under a lake most of the year. And then in June, the waters start to recede, or May, they recede, and you get this incredible lush, rich grass that comes out, and it attracts the game. So it becomes this massive game maker area. Driving through there in November, my mouth was hanging open. I could not believe the wall-to-wall game. One of the areas I've never visited is Serengeti, and I can only imagine this is what it must have been like because of these open plain areas with this little tributary running through and all the game there, herds of tsetse and sable and wildebeest and buffalo. And just in the drive from the airport, we came across this incredible pride of lions, and beautiful, big. I've never seen such healthy lions in all my life. African Parks is very involved up in this area as well in making sure that it's preserved, and an airstrip quite close, so the transfer from the airport to the lodge isn't far. You can see the image. One of them has a lift, so this is a lift that goes up. So if anybody has a mobility issue, either the guide will do it for you, or he can show you how to do it if you're adventurous enough to go up and down on your own. This is actually looking out of the plains, and our main area is actually off to the left, to the right here on my right. An image of the inside. It is small and compact, but it works because it's a nest, and we've got these little sunken areas where you can sit and enjoy just the view over the plains. This is the main area. Again, the need to build a massive main area wasn't there because you're only going to ever have 8 guests at one time, which is why this is a beautiful property also for exclusive use. So if you have 8 people traveling, you take the whole, or 7 people traveling, you can take the whole property itself. The food we had here was absolutely incredible, and the management also is amazing. Part of Green Safaris and what we do is trying to make sure that across the board our service levels are on point. So we enroll the services of a company that comes in and does training in that regard. We also want consistency of service. So we currently, at the moment, while we're in our downtime, we have a chef's conference at Tongabizi where we've earmarked one of our chefs, actually at Kayamawa, to come out and do a big push to all our chefs to make sure that the standard of food is the same, but you're also not getting served the same butternut soup if you were using our full circuit. We have the most incredible guide at Shawa called Jacob Shawa, and he's busy with at ILA doing a whole range of training, updating the guides. Well, the guides are all incredible, every single one I met, but just to take that to another level, again, as part of outdoing your imagination. Just another image of the inside. It does have its swimming pool as well. And we have the e-bikes here. So another dimension to doing safari. You can take an e-bike out with a guide and go and do a little bit of a drive around after a game drive, which is incredible. Electric vehicles here as well. And of course, a perfect place to do walking safaris as well. It's just another image. In Shawa, Shawa is situated in, that's actually Jacob Shawa there. He's an incredible man. I mean, and you can see that the other guides at work absolutely revere him and have the same passion and love. You go there and you feel like they really are wanting to make sure you get every single moment out of being there. And the passion that comes through is absolutely incredible. They've all grown up in this area. They know it backwards. The knowledge is incredible. He actually chose the site where we are. It's based in also in a game capture area right opposite the Insefu sector of South Luangwa, which is another game-rich area. So it's a 40-minute drive. You don't go through the town and through the main gates and get involved in all of that. You actually turn off, and it's a 40-minute transfer from the airport to our lodge, and then you're there, bang, across in the Insefu sector. If you had to traverse it through the park, it actually can take up to 3 hours. So the fact that it's only 40 minutes and you're right there is an incredible location, built under these massive big sausage trees, which is lovely. We do have a family unit here as well. So again, you can take this whole lodge exclusively as well, exclusive use, or you can, as I said, FRTs, honeymooners, but then we also do have a unit that can take children. Open the 1st of May to the 4th of January. Certain times of the year, the rains come down and that the mud, the sort of sand in the South of Mango turns into mud, and it makes it very difficult to traverse. So we have to close at certain times of the year. This is an image of our main area from Shawa. It's actually a double deck. It's got a second deck up at the top. Every night when we were there in November, there were elephants right under our decks. The ladies were just sitting here on the decks, just looking at the elephants every night. It was incredible. In the mornings, they serve them as amazing breakfast, early mornings here on this, next to the pool. The chef here was, food was amazing. This is actually one of those projects where we did employ staff that have never had an experience in tourism, and we're training them to, and it actually endures you to them because it makes you see, you know, how they're blossoming into the people that have got confidence to be able to talk to internationals and really get involved in loving this property and loving what they do. That's the Nsefu sector here, and this is the Luangwa River. That's the top section. So there was that bottom section here, and this is the bar here as well. And again, built so that you've got maximum ventilation all the way through. They've got our toilets also here in the main area. Just another image of the swimming pool. And then the idea behind the tents when we built it was that sort of teepee or Harry Potter style, if you will. They all have outdoor showers. They have their sunken baths in the deck. And the idea is that hot air rises outside and then comes out. But we are going to be putting air coolers in here as well over the beds. We are in the process, after having had our first lot of guests through here, we felt that the decks perhaps were a little small. So we are in the process of putting a drop-down second deck with a separate lounge area outside. So that'll be ready by our next season. Just giving you an image of the inside of one of the tents. And this is the family unit we were referring to. So you can see they're quite close. That's just another image of the family unit as well. So these either can come all the way up or all the way down, depending on how your clients feel. And of course, we've got the black zip-ups for the insects at night, or if your clients feel a little bit more secure during the day, they have them locked up as well, zipped down. Again, we've introduced our silent vehicles here. So you're going to be going out on silent safaris. And Jacob Shawa, obviously home to the walking safaris. This is a typical scene of South Luangwa. Carmine bee eaters. We actually in November set up a sundowner on this sandbank and watched hundreds of them coming in to nest, which was an incredible view. And it is part of what makes South Luangwa so beautiful on the walking safaris, is that you get this river that reduces down and you get these massive sandbanks that allow, you know, us to use them for walking safaris or for sundowners. We actually watched a whole pack of wild dogs while we were there in the river playing, and they ended up coming right out of the river up the sandbank and past our vehicle and lay down in the grass. And we also saw a lion kill while we were there. It was absolutely incredible. Home to the walking safari where it all started, and where Jacob got all his knowledge from. So it's just an incredible place for that. And then to a perfect end, obviously, you know, you've got your falls, you've got your, you know, if you're combining these similar safari elements, you would not want for anything in terms of a safari. But then to cap it off, we end off with this incredible property up in the Como Island called Kayamawa. It's right up north. The water remains this constant temperature. I mean, I've traveled here in June and in November, and I've swam and snorkeled in both of them. It was, you know, the water temperature was amazing on both occasions. It's built in sort of this bow shape, rooms on this side, rooms on that side, main area here. We do offer, for those who don't, we do a boat transfer from the airport round, or we can do a road transfer through if your client doesn't want to get on a boat. You come past the fishing nets that where the locals use. So it's a great way to actually see how to do both, actually, to see the community and how they live on the island. It is very similar to Tonga-Beezy in the way that it has its sort of standard entry rooms, which is what we call, they all have different names. And there is a sheet on our agents portal that actually gives you very detailed descriptions of each room so that you can see exactly what each room has. We have premier houses, family houses. We also have an exclusive use house like Tonga-Beezy has in Tangala. We have what we call a Doma house, also a 4-bedroom house. So something for everybody here. It is open from the 1st of April to the 4th of January, again, because we have what they call monsoon weather or rain that comes through, the lake rises. And so we do use that downtime to do renovations or refurbishments or anything that needs to be done. This is just an image of the main area. We do a lot of engaging with the community here. When I was there, we had a marimba, sort of a band come down to play. We also had the choir come down and sing another night, which was amazing. Sunset across this lake is also incredible. And I often get people saying, but is it really a beach destination? When you're there, you do feel like you're on a beach. And this is actually what the water's like. It's this aqua blue, beautiful area. You can see fish swimming around. We had a young lady with us who's quite a big scuba diver, and she went out with our PADI instructor, and she came back mind blown. Like, oh, I didn't think I would have the same experience swimming or snorkeling or scuba diving in the lake, and she just was absolutely blown away. Just another image looking out from our main area. Swings, and then in terms of activities, we do the private dinings on the beaches. We can do private dining in the decks if you request it. In the rooms, we do either these Bedouin style picnics, or we have the tables and chairs set up on the beaches or in the main area. This is an image looking from actually one of our standard rooms. They all are very quirky. They're built with out of the rocks. The actual original lodge was built by the community by hand, using the rocks that existed on the area. We have embarked on a refurb of redoing all the windows and doors and roofs and adding on bathrooms, etc., during the COVID times, and we're now completing some of that now during our downtime. These are some of our boats that sit in the water. Even though some of the rooms don't have their own plunge pools, they do have these ladders that go straight into this, what I call your big pool, because it's fresh water and it's warm. So just an incredible experience. If you're lying here and you want to jump in and go and do a snorkeling, you can straight from your rooms. Another image of one of our premier houses. You go through to this area, and the whole feel is that sort of beach house vibe, if you will. A lot of it, you'll see the products of the skills center coming through. All of these wall hangings come from that skills center. Every room is different. Every bath is different. Every pool is different. Every view is different. Some are up on the rocks, some are down at beach level. So we have to make sure that we're putting the right person in the right room. Another image of Nkwazi House looking out over the bay. You can see here, you've got walkways that come that go straight out into ladders, into the water. Another image of another swimming pool. And you do get this feeling. You get this feeling of you've been on this amazing safari, seen the falls, and now you just get that downtime to just swim and soak up the sun and enjoy another bit of Africa that comes from a very different dimension, and not a city dwelling or a big commercial resort. It is, and this is again another one of those chandeliers that comes from the skills center. There's another swimming pool out the top there. So from an activity point of view, it offers everything from, water skiing to kite surfing to scuba diving, snorkeling, sunset cruises. We do have a part of what we've done is this is obviously, in Africa, no beaches are private. And we do have, obviously some locals come down to the water, but we've built a wash station up in the top for them. We pipe water for them. And we spend a lot of time engaging with the community and how we make their lives easier. We will never stop them from accessing our water, and it's part of Africa, but I think a good part of Africa. So, but that you will see there is one of our houses that we just recently redid the roofing on as well. Sailboats, canoeing, tubing, there's everything. And then this is the skills center I was referring to. We use obviously the wine bottles, they use this very rudimentary PVC pipe that they put the glass in and they put sand in and then it runs all day. And then out pops these sand-blasted glass that they then see to make these beautiful glass chandeliers. We actually saw this one while I was there. They used recycled copper here and then it was being commissioned by somebody in the UK that was using it in their house. So they sell far and wide, but you can go and visit this and go and purchase yourself stuff. And I did. I purchased a lot here. And again, you're supporting, it's a women's project. So it's and that's part of our empowering people is we do believe in empowering women a lot. So that's part of it. So it tends to be what we call ethical interiors in terms of using a lot of, comes from our skill centers in there. I mean, Mafui has a fabric place outside, not one that belongs to us, but one that we also support as well. And then the community, you can hire e-bikes as well here. You can go into the community. There's this incredible church. It was built by missionaries years ago, and they have a pastor here. And this pastor, and so every Sunday, the community meets here, quite a religious community. So it's actually quite incredible when you see the size of this church on this little island. Just some gets doing some yoga on the beach. And then just back to I think I'm over my time, sorry. Back to the pillars, and then some imagery of our sustainable projects. We even have a separate website for our sustainable called Green Foundation that you can go and have a look at and see the magnitude of the sustainable stuff that we do for green safaris as well. Right.
Great. Thank you, Ros, for wonderful presentation. Clearly a very special portfolio of properties there. And you're clearly very passionate about the portfolio and everything that you guys are doing there. So we do have some time for questions. If you do have any questions, pop these into the Q&A box and we will address these to Ros. Ros, I'm very glad that you finished on Malawi as well, because we've got another webinar tomorrow. Mike Vondel from Crafted Africa is doing a Malawi webinar. So I'm sure that this will be featured, plus more on Malawi. So if you do want to update a little bit more on Malawi, make sure you tune in tomorrow afternoon. So a couple of questions that have come through now from Regular. How about traveling in December, sort of before high season weather-wise? And also in addition to that, what are the mosquitoes like in December?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Zambia is a malaria area, but we do regular spraying. Your rooms have air conditioners in them. You close them up at night. You've got mosquito nets. You do obviously put insect repellent in the rooms for you to use. It's the same as any safari area that you go into. Traveling in December, I'm assuming you're referring to Livingston there. What happens during the rainy, or what you call the rainy season really, is it's generally our rainy season starts in sort of January, February, March going onwards. But if there is rain in December, it's usually those afternoon showers and it cools everything down. So it's actually a great time to travel to Livingston. Obviously, a lot of our other properties are not open during that time. But certainly we deal with the mosquitoes as you would in every other safari property, almost the same. I see there's a question, is swimming safe at Kaya? Interesting question. Yeah, I mean, I went up there in June with my 13-year-old son, and I thought about it, and I was like, oh, the hippos and crocs. So it was definitely a question that I asked, and they do surveys of it. They've never seen any hippos and crocs up there. It's extremely safe to swim in. Lake Malawi does have hippos and crocs, but it's all the way down south. They don't come up as far as north as Lacoma, so they've never had them. And they do regular consensus to see how they're doing.
Okay.
Nice to see you too, Sean. I see
okay. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all in terms of questions. So Ros, thank you very much for your time. To everyone that has tuned in today, thank you very much for your time to listen. If you did miss out on anything, as always, it has been recorded and the recording will be distributed to everyone who has registered. Keep an eye out for upcoming webinars. As I said, we've got Malawi tomorrow. Then we've got Tanzania. We've got a few other ones in the pipeline as well. So keep an eye out on your emails. And we look forward to seeing you all soon. Ros, thank you very much. Everyone viewing, thank you.
All right, great. Thank you.